What's up guys, it is SDJ or Kong here, and in this video we are going to be reacting to the Epic Titan War Explained by Dangervale. Not sure if you guys have ever heard of him, but they are talking about not only about dinosaurs but also titans and some other things. But how about we get into it? Okay.
What happened during this ancient war between both Kong and Godzilla's ancestors that was revealed within the climactic trailer for Godzilla vs. Kong? This is a question many fans and viewers alike have asked in the short amount of time that has come since the big reveal. This war must have been huge, brutal, and nasty. Only two remain, Godzilla and Kong, and their face-off will be the last chapter in this global battle between Earth's mightiest titans.
Okay.
But what exactly happened during this war? That is what we are going to theorize about in this video. So sit back, grab yourself a pint or a juice box, and let's get to it.
Evolve, adapt, dominate.
These are basic steps in the process of life for all living creatures on the planet.
I just said
Godzilla's
those things.
the Titanus Gojira, in the MonsterVerse lore, were the first of the Titans to take the mantle of control in this universe.
That's cool.
During the very early stages of life, before the dinosaurs even,
What?
the Gojira evolved and adapted over millions of years.
Wait, the Godzillas existed before dinosaurs? What? Okay, getting ahead of myself.
And became the epitome of biological greatness. They were truly the best of the best, and all the other early titans from this era soon came to realize that bowing was the smart choice to make if they wanted to still have a place on this giant rock of a planet. There were challengers who evolved solely for the purpose of eradicating the Gojira.
The
We know them
Mutos.
as the Mutos. And for a time, these were the only true challengers to the throne of control. Even with some success, the Mutos never were able to fully take on the, then at their prime, Gojira. But it did show others that the tyrannical rule of the Gojira could be challenged. And maybe, just maybe, a new breed of Titan would grow to take on these atomic reptiles.
Like Kong.
We've been manipulated to think of our big G-Man as a hero or a protector of Earth so far, but it is in his kind's nature to become aggressive, dominant, and obsessed with being in control. Our Godzilla is young in the grand scheme of Titans,
Never
and
heard
after
of
his
that.
defeat of Ghidorah, you could see his ancestors' ruthlessness and ego-driven nature start to come out in him.
Oh,
And just
well,
like
I
in the
remember
past,
that.
Tyrants will always have those who wish to see them crumble. Rewinding back to the ancient times, something massive happened that changed the course of life on Earth.
The
great
asteroid
calamity
impact.
we all know is the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
This event forced most of the Titans to go deep into the Earth in order to feed off the greater radiation and to avoid the chaos on the surface world. Here some Titans hibernated, while others went on to rule this new realm. In this new world, the Gojira continued to rule, but after tens of millions of years, a new challenger began to evolve on the surface. The mammals. The first chapters of life were dominated by our reptilian, insect, and marine counterparts, but the asteroid created a chain of events that would lead to the mammals slowly starting to take over when they were at once nothing but pests.
Makes
Now
sense.
the mammals hunted and ate the reptiles and creatures who at once preyed upon them. Their DNA allowed them to be better suited for quickly adapting to all environments, and their brains began to grow.
This is exactly like how us humans evolved, but not sure if we evolved from chimpanzees. But this is somewhat like what happened with us.
Entrances to the Hollow Earth were soon filled with the footsteps of mankind, or at the very least our ancient relatives who were quick to form civilizations. Over time, they learned that the gods lived in this new realm, and they could do only one thing: worship them. Around this time, another species of mammal similar to humans came into existence.
The Kongs.
On an island deep in the Pacific, new super titans began to evolve and grow. The Kongs. These monstrous new apes grew rapidly, tripling in size in a matter of decades compared to the other titans who took millions of years or needed certain dramatic events to occur in order to get a growth boost. While
Weird.
this did have the negative effect of drastically shorter lifespans compared to the ancient titans, the Kongs were able to quickly reproduce and pass on their knowledge, skill, and wisdom to every new generation. Each new young Kong would be taught the lessons of his kind's past, and with that knowledge, would always keep the species moving forward.
Except that backfired when the Skullcrawlers killed off Kong's mom and dad and the rest of his family. But that was in 1973 in Kong Skull Island.
Learning how to communicate, show emotion, and even craft and use tools for specific uses. In a mere blink of an eye in Titan standards, the Kongs grew to be a mighty force, and the only thing holding them back was their island home, surrounded by water on all sides. This island, shaped in the image of a skull, just so
Skull
happened to
Island.
be connected to the Hollow Earth where most of the other Titans and Gojira ruled. One day, this entrance was discovered and thus put into motion the events that would start the Great Titan War.
I have a challenge for all of you. Go to every computer.
The war. Just like many ancient human wars, the fighting began when one force entered into the lands of another. The idea of having another group threatening your land, your people, taking and doing whatever they wanted, never was something to really just allow to happen. This same fate would happen with the Kongs and Gojira.
That's weird.
Skull Island's newly found entrance to the Hollow Earth allowed the Kongs to expand their territory beyond the island, and this new space would allow them to continue to grow more populated, more powerful. All good things must come to an end, though. This mighty expedition was soon halted, once the first hunting party of Kong's kind came across the one species that they never could have suspected. The kind that spewed fire and death. The tyrannical Gojira. When the group of Kongs never reported back to the clan, the elders began to grow restless. They soon found the charred remains of their dead clan members, and knew that if they wanted to remain on their path of new life and greater things, they would need to find this new threat and eliminate it. The Kongs discovered that these reptilian overlords were treated as gods by the tiny, fleshy, ape-like beings, crafting great monuments and structures in the image of the Kong's new enemy. The Kong species all have a natural tendency to despise being told what to do and how to do it. They live their own life, and you better not tell them otherwise. They hated how these tiny apes worshipped the Gojira. To them, it just never set right, and it turned what was at first a battle over land into something more personal. Tyrants versus rebels.
Old versus new. Reptile versus mammal.
This war had no good or bad guys in it. Both sides merely thought they were doing what they should. These tendencies and actions were normal, and at the end of the day, the Titans are still more animal than anything. But that didn't stop the Kongs from giving everything they had to fight the Gojira. In a strict hand-to-hand battle, the Kongs could hold their own, and their impressive numbers would be quick to overcome a single Gojira. The Kongs, at first, made progress deep into the Hollow Earth, defeating the occasional Gojira that strayed too far away from its brethren. For a split moment, the Kongs could see that maybe they really could make their dreams become reality, reaching all parts of this new Hollow Earth, finding other exits to the surface world, and living their lives in total freedom. Not trapped on their island, or under the rule of a tyrant group of scalies. But one secret magical weapon the Kongs could not overcome.
The atomic breath.
You can beat the snot out of your enemy if you are more physically gifted, but no amount of brute force or agility can stop a blue stream of death hotter than the sun from scorching your flesh all the way to the bone. The ability for Gojira to fire their atomic blast was something the Kongs could never overcome. This is when the Great War took a drastic change and the Kongs began to lose. The Gojira had enough of this new rebellion and began to work more aggressively towards pushing these hairy titans back to where they came, or to wipe them out of existence completely. The Kongs were no match for a wall of fire, and had to retreat all the way back to the entrance beneath Skull Island. Here they would make their last stand, the last attempt of reaching their heaven. The war raged on for some time in this last stronghold. At one point, the mightiest of Kongs began to use his super weapon, his brain. The war had gone on for hundreds of years at that point.
Imagine human wars lasting hundreds of years. Don't you guys think that it would be crazy if actually human wars lasted 100 years?
And in that time, the Kongs saw their fair share of strange titans. One monster specifically stood out in the wise Kong's mind.
The
Mutos
Muto.
have the ability to turn off Gojira's atomic breath with their natural EMP abilities. It's how they naturally evolved as nature's way of culling their herd of Gojira, and this Kong thought that maybe it could be used as a tool of sorts. Without the atomic blast, Gojira are not as godly as they sometimes appear. The Mutos had nothing special to combat the Kongs, so the apes had managed to kill many during the war. This wise Kong ripped the leg off of one of these Mutos, knowing it may help in times of battle with the Gojira. Upon using it in battle, it worked. The Gojira wasn't able to use his blast effectively. With a crashing whap, this Kong smashed the Muto leg on the back of the Gojira and busted many of its plates clean off its back. The Gojira roared in agony, and this is when the rest of the Kongs came in and pummeled this Gojira to death. The wise Kong stared at the dorsal plates glowing bright blue on the ground, and his large brain began to put things together once again. The plates always glowed blue when a Gojira was about to fire his special weapon.
Their atomic
So
breath.
these plates must have some sort of connection with the blast itself. The hide and dorsal plate of the dead Godzilla, and the leg of the Muto. This Kong, with the help of his community, was able to craft
Forge
the mighty axe
the
that we see Kong uncover in the trailer.
battle
With
axe.
this new weapon, the Kongs had a chance. The wise Kong led many of his kind straight into battle with his new axe. It significantly lowered the effectiveness of every Gojira they came across, and when one Gojira managed to fire a powerful ray, the beam raced straight towards the axe, almost like it was magnetized towards the dorsal plate, and the energy was absorbed without harming the Kong. The axe then glowed blue. A shudder of fear began to come out in the reptile overlords. The Kongs had finally discovered a tool that could help them survive and flourish, just like other apes. But then the Gojira made an ultimate sacrifice. On
He did?
land or in the Hollow Earth, Kongs and Gojira were evenly matched. But in the water, nothing could challenge a Gojira.
Oh,
A
right.
handful of last remaining Gojira, including our own Godzilla, decided the only thing they could do to stop the swarm of hundreds of Kongs was to flood the Hollow Earth. Across the entire world, the Gojira began destroying the entrances to the Hollow Earth and allowed the oceans to flood the caverns. In this process, they killed all their human worshippers and many other species of titans who called the Hollow Earth their home. The Kongs were not prepared for this, and most of their kind that settled the Hollow Earth drowned. The wise Kong,
Rest in peace,
Jax,
Kongs.
along with a dozen or so of his fellow clan members, managed to make it back to the Hollow Earth entrance before the flooding had consumed them. But they were now, once again, trapped. The only place they could go was back to the surface of Skull Island. The wise Kong, now devastated and defeated, placed the remains of some of the Gojira they had killed in a strange spiritual sort of fashion on the ground. Here he placed a mighty axe. His time as a warrior was over. But maybe one day, another Kong would rise to seek revenge on those who wiped out nearly all of his species. Using clues left along the way to uncover the power this weapon had against the Gojira.
The
and
present-day
even the odds of
Kong.
battle. The wise Kong and his surviving clan members went back to the surface of Skull Island to live out the last of their days. Their dreams were crushed and the downfall of their species had begun. Disease and starvation would slowly lower their once great population, and beasts from below would see this weakness and wish to take advantage of it. Once you take the roar and pack away from the lion, the hyena can overwhelm it. The remaining Gojira would go into hibernation or patrol the planet looking for any new Mutos to destroy. Over time, one by one, these once gods succumbed to the Muto Prime and its lessers. The Kongs had weakened the great titan race of Gojira, proving that even a god could bleed. The few remaining Gojira now ceased to work together. They were spread too thin, and the Mutos killed all but one of them.
Present day
Godzilla remembers
Godzilla.
this ancient war. He remembers how the Kongs were the cause of his kind's downfall. He will likely never forget or forgive them. This is why he lets Kong's parents and family be consumed by the Skullcrawlers. Knowing the apes were suffering and trapped was good enough for him. Our Kong was not alive during the Great War, but we know he will discover his kind's history and how a once wise Kong had nearly changed the course of life on Earth. He will learn that his species' undoing was caused by the Gojira, and that their last days, his forever loneliness, their suffering, was the fault of the beast who had just attacked him while out on the ocean. This Godzilla must pay. Godzilla vs. Kong is a great movie matchup and a great blockbuster of a scenario that has taken the world by storm.
Yeah, it is.
But within this theory, the entire premise of the movie becomes much more deep and personal. Both Godzilla and Kong hate the other due to blaming each other for the downfall of their own species. How would you feel if you came across the lone remaining member of a family of enemies who killed or was the cause of your family's death?
I don't know how I would feel.
I doubt you would want to sit down and have a chat with them.
Yeah, probably not.
What do you think about this story? I went crazy with the theory, but as it all came together, I think it makes a lot of sense, so let us know how you feel about it in the comments. Make sure to stomp the subscribe button and hit the bell for more Godzilla vs. Kong theories, news, and videos. Thank you all so much for chilling with me today, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. This has been Jacob. See you guys in the next one.
Okay, that was the video. I hope you guys liked it, and let me know what you want me to do next. SDJ or Kong out. See you guys later. Bye.